G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about the round 22 matchups. So if you're in finals, you want to be here listening to who's got the goods this week. But also we're going to have a look back at the best from round 21 and some of my favourite players as well. A couple of captain options for the week ahead. And obviously we're having a look at a few of the matchups. There's some good ones. So let's get into it. Best from last week, John Noble hit that gold score, 152 for him against Melbourne at home. They were on the back foot for most of the week, and Noble, plenty of kick-ins, plenty of junk down back. Him and Matty Rowell down there were the only shining lights for the Suns, I felt, on the weekend. But 152 for Noble. Very, very nice. And then a big jump down to George Hewitt at 135 there. Georgie had a big day in that crazy upset for the Blues against the Lions. Huge win in the end, and George Hewitt was at the forefront of that. Tim Taranto for Richmond. Good to see him right back up there in a good matchup, though, against West Coast. And West Coast not getting it done on the weekend. Richmond getting the second win of the season, I think. So good stuff from Tim Taranto there, 133. Max Gawn doing it again, 132 for him against Gold Coast. And Ned Moyle. And I don't know if Jared Witts was there, but he was doing it easy. Max Gawn, 132. Riley Thilthorpe was everywhere against Essendon at Adelaide Oval, absolutely dominating up front. 127 for Thilthorpe. Lockie Whitfield there, getting it done down back. Big day out against Port, and weird matchup, but still got some good fantasy scores out of it in the end by a couple of teams that are a bit devastated at the moment, the Giants and Port Adelaide. Carl Warner has been a shining light for Fremantle in the dominant team, to be honest. So very nice to see a couple of interesting ones at the top here for Freo. And Carl Warner, 126 on the weekend again, getting it done down back. Tom Sparrow for the Demons. He has actually been amazing this whole year. Apart from maybe that first game of the season, everything else has been incredible. Incredible floor scores and just very consistent ever since Petrarca and Clary left the Demons last year. So 126 for him again. Ollie Dempsey was a big one for the Cats on the weekend. 125 for him against the Pies. Matty Rowell, as I mentioned before, one of the two big ones for the Suns on the weekend. Absolutely dominant in the middle, but just not able to make it work for the Suns at the moment. But he's still got 125, which is nothing to sneeze at. Good on you, Rowley. Harry Sheezel there, dominant as always, doing it again, 120 plus for Shees against Hawthorn as well. So even against the tougher teams, it feels Sheezel is getting it done. 124. Jason Horne-Francis, the last main big name standing in the middle for Port Adelaide, it feels, and he is getting it done week in, week out now. 123 for JHF. Isaac Rankin in a very nice matchup against the Bombers, 121. John Newcomb as well, 121. He loves to come alive closer to September, so hopefully he's going to help out a few coaches get some wins this weekend too and during finals. And finally there, Darcy Cameron had a great day out. Good matchup against the Geelong Cats for Rucks. They get it done most of the time, and he did. He got 120 on the weekend. Very nice from D-Cam. Some of my favourite players here, guys. So some of the guys maybe we didn't expect to go this big, but a couple of forwards at the top here. Dan McStay for the Pies and Harry McKay for the Blues. 118, 116 apiece. So a couple of big guys at the front getting it done on the weekend. And some matchups maybe we didn't expect some full forwards to do as well against the Cats and the Lions. So a bit unexpected there, but pretty happy if you own one of those two. Nick Blakey, dominant against the Saints, plenty down back. The Lizard doing his thing, 116. Jarman Impey. We have to talk about Jarman Impey because he is possibly one of the best players, the last top 5 players the last 3-4 rounds, and he has been tunning up at will. He seems to be getting the role Sicily had a few years ago, and the main man organising down back for the Hawks. 115 for Impey. Harley Reid against a good matchup in Richmond. Didn't get the win, which is weird, but 114 for Harley Reid in a very nice display. Not too many frees against on the weekend. Trent Rivers for the Demons, another Demon who has stepped it up in the new shift since Petrarca and Oliver have left the Ds. And down back getting a bit and in the middle as well. So he's been pretty good this year. 112 for Rivers. Peter Wright as, one of the main ruckmen, I felt, and kicked a few as well on the weekend against the Crows, but 110 for Peter Wright in that DPP ruck forward. Very nice, sneaky one there for the week ahead, maybe. He seems to be back into some form. Miles Bergman for Port Adelaide, another one that's kind of stepped it up a bit ever since Rosie and Butters have been out. And Bergman, very nice effort from him in the weekend, getting in the middle, 110 for him. Elliot Yeo against Richmond, another one that had a good matchup and came alive in the end, bringing that experience with Tim Kelly and Harley Reid and a few others against the Tigers. Not getting it done though, but still got 108. Billy Dowling, a nice in for the Crows over the weekend. And he got it done against an easy matchup, but he is a little pig at the Sandful level, and he was pigging it up a little bit on the weekend at AFL level. Finally, good to see, and a forward option too. 107 for Billy Dowling. Joel Fitzgerald, the mid-season draftee, came alive last week against the Gold Coast Suns. Awesome to see another guy that could really step it up in the midfield, and bit more time, and he could be doing that a bit more often, I think, for Joel Fitzgerald. Tim Kelly, quickly mentioned before, another good week from him in the midfield. Just dominant again against a nice, easy matchup. So Richmond usually going to get a few tons on the board against them. 105 for Tim Kelly. Will Setterfield, another one there on the cusp, on the fringe for a bit at the Bombers. And last couple of weeks, he's been getting amongst it, though. When he does get the time on ground, he gets put in the middle. He does actually accumulate points, and he did it on the weekend against the Crows, 104. Jace Burgoyne, another one there for Port Adelaide, getting some time in the middle, I think, and down back, especially Port's doing it rough at the moment. So they're looking at guys like him and Bergman at the moment, I think, and tunning up on the weekends. Good to see. And finally here, one of my favourite players ever since he's been drafted, Marcus Herbert. Another mid-season draftee here. 2 tons in a row for Marcus Herbert. And what's that, 70 disposals over the last 2 weeks for Marcus Herbert. So insane numbers from a guy that's only played less than 10 games. So awesome stuff. And if you don't have Marcus Herbert yet, or if he's available in your league somehow, get on him right now. All right, some of the matchups this week, guys. Starting off tonight on Thursday night, Western Bulldogs versus North Melbourne. Some big names, obviously, there. The Bont, Harry Sheasel, to name the biggest ones. But then, obviously, a couple of ruckmen in there. Tim English, Tristan Cherry, big ones to start off the week. Anyone could be going big. Caleb Daniels been all right. Kobe McKercher for North Melbourne, a little bit better the last couple of weeks. And the Dogs had Libba back last week. Really liked Riley Sanders in the second half of this season in particular. Has been very consistent. Just a good matchup, I think. An interesting one for the Dogs. I think they need to get that one done if they want to, definitely secure finals and maybe even push for that top 6 spot, maybe. On Friday night, it's a decent, very good game, this one. Brisbane versus the Hawks. Brisbane getting smashed last week, and the Hawks getting it done against North Melbourne. But in Brisbane, at the Gabba, you got to expect Brisbane will come alive. Lachie Neale loves playing at the Gabba. Hugh McCluggage has been better the last couple of weeks. Ashcroft is amazing. Zorko's back. So there's lots happening, and they fell off a cliff last week, and they're against the Hawks this week. So it's a tough one. But at home, I got to put the Lions down for a little bit of a better week this week, you'd think. But Hawthorn away at the Gabba against Brisbane. It's going to be tough. And we saw some good scores last week from some Hawks, though. Jai Newcomb, Jarman Impey. A few Hawks getting on it last week against North Melbourne. But that is going to be an absolute clash on the weekend, on Friday night at the Gabba. And I don't know who's going to win that. Hawks have been in some great form, but Lions at home, again, really tough to get it done away at the Gabba. So interesting one on Friday, and I'll be definitely watching that one and tonight. So come along and hang out for some footy with the stats on the screen. Should be good. On Saturday, we got 4 games, a little bit of overlap in the middle. Starting off with an absolute cracker, though. Demons versus the Dockers. Top 6 clash there for sure at the moment. And Demons, pretty good last week. Obviously, I was saying before, Rivers, Sparrow, obviously Gawn have been amazing the last couple of weeks. Sparrow has been unreal, to be honest. So if you can get Sparrow late in the league late at this stage in the year, then definitely get on that. He is awesome at the moment. But Fremantle, obviously awesome as well. Just dominating, only the 1 or 3 losses this year or something like that. So just dominant all year round, and it's going to be a tough day out for the Demons. Gawn against Jackson should be interesting. I still think Gawn will be the number 1 ruck on the field on Saturday afternoon. But yeah, Jackson, his old teammate, could give him a run for his money too. Interesting one. Dockers, hard to pick how they're going to go fantasy-wise because they love to share it around. Some interesting ones with Carl Warner getting on the last couple of weeks. Sarong Brayshaw, obviously. And a few others in there. Just, getting it done week in, week out for the Dockers. Everyone's getting a piece of it, though. So no one's really teeing off at the Dockers at the moment. But absolute cracker to start off Saturday afternoon. And then I'm calling this one the bloodbath, Saturday afternoon bloodbath, I think, because Sydney versus Port Adelaide, I'm expecting at the SCG to be all Sydney's way. Errol Goulden, Isaac Heaney, Brodie Grundy, Blakey, Mills, all these guys, I reckon they're going to have big weeks. Could be seeing 5 or 6 tons on the weekend against the Power at the SCG. I just think the Power are a bit undermanned at the moment. It's just been struggle street ever since Rosie and Butters have been gone. They're missing Farrell, missing, I don't know if Georgiades is back, but a lot is missing for Port Adelaide at the moment. And at SCG against the Swans, it's going to be tough. Jason Horne-Francis, Jace Burgoyne, Miles Bergman, the biggest ones there, you'd have to say. Don't know how Jordan Sweet's going to fare against Brodie Grundy in the ruck. That could be an interesting one, but I think Grundy should get the wood over him. And I think the Swans will run away with it, to be honest. So maybe an interesting one. Some good key defenders for Port Adelaide, so we'll see how the full forwards at Sydney go, but maybe Charlie Curnow could find another ton. That'd be nice. Geelong, and we're going to keep the bloodbath going here. Geelong against Essendon at GMHBA. That is going to be possibly the biggest bloodbath, or one of these next two, Cats or Crows, going to be the biggest blowouts of the week, you got to say. Cats against Essendon at GMHBA, expecting the Cats to run riot. Bailey Smith, obviously, but maybe some forwards. I'm thinking maybe Shannon Neal, Sean Manor. Plenty happening in there for the Cats. Obviously, no Max Holmes at the moment, so maybe Tom Atkins or Tanner Brun picking it up in the middle could be a way for the Cats to go on the weekend. Could be plenty happening there in the middle for the Cats and up front. And hopefully we'll get to see some junk down back as well, because Tom Stewart's been all right. A few others down there. Connor O'Sullivan could be having, nice. Could see a lot of Cats getting on against the Bombers down there. That's all I'll say. And could be 100-plus victory at GMHBA on Saturday afternoon. And in the evening there, the other bloodbath, Adelaide against Richmond at Adelaide Oval. Again, I think after Riley Thilthorpe's week last week, he will be looking to replicate that this week. 120-plus maybe incoming for Filthy Thilthorpe. And obviously Jordan Dawson, Isaac Rankin, Billy Dowling, awesome last week. Interesting to see who comes back for the Crows, if Sam Berry's coming back in, something like that. Any amount of names for the Crows could be getting busy against the Tigers. You'd have to think it's going to be one-way traffic at Adelaide Oval on Saturday night. Maybe Toby Nankervis, maybe Tim Taranto, maybe Jaden Short fell off a bit of a cliff last week. So tough times for Richmond, and who knows who's going to pop off on the weekend. Obviously got some high draft picks in there. Just want to see them do something. So going to be tough to watch if you're a Richmond fan on Saturday night, I think. And there could be a good couple of tons on the cards for some Crows, definitely. On Sunday, starts us off with an Eastern clash. GWS Giants against the Gold Coast Suns at the old Manuka Oval. I've forgotten how to say the CGOM Oval. It's not an easy one to get off the tongue. But yes, the old Manuka Oval. So Canberra for the Giants. And they got it done against Port Adelaide last week, even without Finn Callaghan. Still had Lockie Whitfield doing his thing down back. Lockie Ash is still there, getting a bit of it. Clayton Oliver, obviously. And who was it? Jake Stringer, I think, was a decent one last week. Kicked plenty. So, interesting one for the Giants against an absolute rabble lineup in the Suns, you got to say. They're just not clicking at the moment. John Noble's the best of them, getting all the kick-ins. Matt Rowell trying his best with Noah Anderson. But other than that, you just can't pick it every week against anyone with the Suns. Christian Petrarca has fallen off a cliff. Duke Miller, hit or miss every week. Lots of kids coming up, and yeah, just not quite clicking just yet. So interesting one. I think the Giants are actually going to get it done on the weekend against the Suns. I just think they have completely fallen off in 2026. And yeah, Giants, even with an undermanned side, still think they're going to get it done on Sunday afternoon. Then it's West Coast against Collingwood at Optus Stadium. Yeah, interesting one. Collingwood, pretty damn good form the last couple of weeks. West Coast coming off a loss to Richmond last week, but they're back at home, so maybe we'll see some fantasy scores kick on for some Eagles. Obviously, I said before, Marcus Herbert has been my pick of the Eagles the last couple of weeks. He's been pretty good with Tim Kelly and a few others in there. Harley Reid was awesome last week. Willem Dersma obviously shattered after losing to Richmond last week, so maybe he's going to fuel some fire for the week ahead maybe as well. Darcy Cameron, awesome last week, 120. Nick Dacos, how are we not talking about him against the Eagles? Could be having an absolute day out. Hasn't gone big in a few weeks. He's been up there, but he hasn't gone big. But we'd like to see Nick Dacos go big against West Coast, I think. Jordan De Goey's been all right. Got some old dogs still doing it in there. Scott Penderbury still turning up regularly this year at 37 years old. So crazy stuff. But yeah, interesting one. Maybe they'll blood some youth against the Eagles. But no, I think the Pies are looking for finals. So you'd think they're going to get it done with ease on the weekend. And then finally, the last match of the week should be a cracker, I reckon. St Kilda against Carlton. Possibly one of the most important games of the year, with finals on the cards for both of them, but also missing finals also on the cards for both of these teams. So whoever wins this one, it's going to be an 8-point play, it feels, in regards to finals, in making finals. So, but yeah, fantasy-wise, interesting one. Saints have been insane this year. Nasiah Wanganeen-Millera has been awesome. Rowan Marshall, a little bit off last week because Tom DeKoning's back, but he's still good, still getting 80s. Who else is in there? Hugo Garcia, Max Hall. Awesome names in the middle there for the Saints. And yeah, Brad Hill. How could I miss Brad Hill? He has been in career best form at 33 years of age. I think he's averaging 120 the last 5 weeks or something. Insane. So interesting how he has just popped off this year. And yeah, if you got Brad Hill, you'd be laughing in finals at the moment. But yeah, Carlton, the same way. Huge last week, beating the Premiers. So crazy stuff. Paddy Cripps came alive. Not his best fantasy game, but yeah, definitely making a difference and giving a lot of points to his teammates, I think. Jagger Smith had an unreal game. Sam Walsh in there. Harry Mackay came good. So yeah, there's a lot of Blues. Interesting time in the season at the moment. Are they going to bring some fire? Are they going to get plenty of points on the weekend? Yeah, I think Jagger and maybe like Hugo or something could be an interesting matchup on the weekend for sure. A couple of young guns going at it. So awesome game, to finish the week. And yeah, I'll be there for all those ones ticked on the right, guys. So please come and join me with the stats up on the screen during the weekend. Should be a bit of fun. And finally here, guys, here are some captain options for the week ahead. I'm starting it off tonight with Bont and the Shees. Bont been a bit off, especially last week. He was against the Dockers and against North Melbourne this week. So much, you'd say, easier matchup. I reckon Bont is looking to bring it back home this week. I'm hoping for 120 plus tonight from the Bont. And Harry Sheezel, what do you say about him? He's been amazing all year and 120s regularly this year. BC without even sweating on that. Easy choice for the week. Same with these guys. Will Ashcroft in particular has been awesome in the second half of the season, regularly hitting 120 plus. And yeah, against the Hawks though, could be tough, but at home, I mean, it's Will Ashcroft. He seems to be doing it against all the teams this year. He's been awesome. And here's a weird one, Jarman Impey. We have to talk about, I talked about him before, but he has been awesome. He has been the man down back. He's averaging 120 plus the last couple of weeks and just dominant, getting all that junk. That's all you have to say. And whether you're ballsy enough to chuck the VC on him, maybe not the C, but the VC, may be worth a shout at the Gabba with the Hawks on the back foot maybe on the weekend. Max Gawn against Fremantle. Maybe a tough one to sell you with Fremantle dominating so much. Luke Jackson in there against him, but you can't sugarcoat it. Max Gawn is the GOAT as far as ruckmen go, and I think at home, if he's solo rucking, I think he's a lock for a captain option on the weekend. A couple of Sydney boys here. Isaac Heaney and Errol Goulden against Port Adelaide at the SCG. I reckon the Swans are going to pop off on the weekend, and a couple of guys, Heaney, I'm thinking is going to kick at least 3, and Goulden, he's been pretty damn good since coming back into the team, and at home again, I think they're going to run riot against Port. Bailey Smith against Essendon, come on, I mean, at GMHBA Stadium, the bloodbath begins there. Bailey Smith, I think, is going to pop off. Could see a few other cats go big, though, as well, so maybe some VCs worthy in that one against Essendon. What has he got? Jordan Dawson and Isaac Rankin continue the bloodbath here against Richmond and Adelaide Oval. Isaac Rankin last week, 120 plus. Jordan Dawson is Jordan Dawson. He is going to get a ton easily this weekend, I think, and maybe even bigger than that, 120 plus, hopefully, for Jordan Dawson. Lockie Whitfield and John Noble in the Eastern Clash there. Whitfield has been awesome. I think leading from the back, especially with Callaghan out, no Tom Green, the midfield's been decimated, so it's on the back foot now, and some of these old guys, Lockie Whitfield, getting the most of it on the kick-ins and plenty of it down back. And John Noble, obviously, he is the main man from last week. He's gone gold a few times this year, and he has been the one down back for the Suns, getting all of it, because that's where the ball goes when you play the Suns. Seems to be always down the back for the last 2 months, and it's all John Noble's ball when it's back there. And then, a few to finish off on Sunday. Nick Dacos, obviously. How could you not captain Nick Dacos against West Coast Eagles too? So could be a big day out for the little master. And the final game there, huge names in Saints versus Carlton. Naz, obviously, the biggest of them, 180 a few weeks ago. Got taken off in the last quarter last week, so didn't quite hit those high heights again, but he was on track. So I reckon could be a good shout against the Blues. And George Hewitt, shining light against, who was it last week? The Lions. Huge effort from George Hewitt last week, and he is one of the underrated ones. I reckon he will be getting in and amongst it. Close to 30 disposals again this week for Georgie. So there you have it, guys. That is my round 22 review. Can't believe we're at round 22. Almost done with the year. And if you're in finals, hope you found this video a little bit of shining light. Hopefully you're going to get the win this week in your finals match. I've got a couple on the cards. I'm pretty keen for a couple of these guys. And yeah, please come and help. Please come and hang out this weekend. We'll watch some footy. Got the stats up. Get some banter going. So please come and join me for that. Like and subscribe below and on social media. And until next time, guys, I'll see you in the next video.